in order to do a speaking session, or we are here to talk about the topics we have studied this week, this course, and I'm waiting for you to be here. The idea is that we can talk and share about the topics. Well, where you connect, I'm going to show you something. It is a presentation about simple past. Simple present. Simple present. Look it. I don't know if you're seeing it. I don't know. Well, all good. Simple present. Then you have and it doesn't help me. Wait. Here. Problem. I can continue here. Well, we use this is simple present. We use simple present to talk about repeated actions and facts and generalizations. Repeated actions, it means, it says we use the simple present to express the idea that an action is repeated or usual. The action can be a habit or a hobby or a daily event, a scheduled event, or something that often happens. For example, a habit. I usually wake up at 7 in the morning, so it's a habit. I always have breakfast in my house. That's a habit. Hobby. For example, I love dancing. I like listening to vallenato, for example. That's a hobby. And a daily event. I always go to the university, or I go to the university every day. So these actions are repeated. Then we can use them with simple present. Look at this. These are some examples of simple present repeated actions. Then I play tennis, and if I say I play tennis every day, we notice that it's a repeated action. She does not play tennis, so it's an action that I don't do, so it's a habit anyway. The train leaves every morning at 8 a.m. and the train doesn't leave at 9 a.m. It is something that usually happens or always happens, and something that never happens. Let's see generalizations. Generalization is something that is always true. In present, in past, in future, it's always true. For example, cats like milk is something general, it's a generalization. We imagine that all cats like milk, is general. Birds don't like milk, or birds do not like milk. Windows are made of glass, it's general, always happens. And windows are not made of wood, it always happens, they are not made of wood. Good. We have here some other, we have examples. Grammatically, we have to think, especially about he, she, it. He, she, it are the third person. And when we have an affirmative idea with he, she, or it, the verb has some changes. For example, he wants, she needs. So it means that we have to add s or es to the verb when we are using affirmative ideas. But we have special rules. For example, we have x, when we have x at the end of the verb as in fix, sh as in push, ss as in pass, ch as in catch, and o as in go. We have to add es to the verb, as he fixes, it pushes, he passes, she catches, he goes. Other rule is that when we have final y Yes, final Y, we have to change Y to IES. Hmm? For example, fly, erase Y and write IES. Cry, cries. And the exception is when we have I but before a vowel, as in play or pray. Then we don't erase Y because you have a vowel before. Play, plays. Pray, prays. That is. And the other thing we have to pay a lot of attention is to the auxiliary. We have an auxiliary um, for he, she, it. We have auxiliary does. For I, we, you, they, we have auxiliary do. In which cases I use auxiliary? In negative ideas and in questions. Okay? In negative ideas, for example, I, you, we, they don't like hamburgers. He, she, it doesn't like hamburgers. That is a negative. What about a question? A question I say, does he, does she, or does it want to travel? Yes, does he, does she, does it. And do I, do you, do we want to travel? So I, we, you, they always go with us. And I, we, you, they always go with do. When in affirmative and in negative ideas. Here we have some examples. He goes, she understands, it mixes, he tries, he enjoys. So you notice the third person in affirmative. He goes, she understands, he mixes, he tries, he enjoys. Affirmatives. Okay, in this chart I am showing you the different forms of a verb in affirmative and negative, in interrogative and in negative. Think, for example, I think, in an interrogative or a question, do I think, I don't think. Or play, for example, I play, do I play, I don't play. But the most important is to pay attention to he, she, it. And he, she, it thinks. Does he think? Does she think? Does it think? And in negative, he doesn't think, she doesn't think. These are the most important for me. Good. And that is, we can practice with this. We have time expressions. These time expressions, okay, they are divided in two. One of them is every day, every Friday, and all that are with every, which means cada, every day, for example, cada día, every Friday, cada viernes, every week, every month, every summer, every year. Yes, they go at the end of the idea. For example, I go to school every day. She visits he visits me every summer. They go at the end. The other case is the frequency adverbs. Frequency adverbs have a different position in the phrase, although they show time, they show frequency. And I'm going to show you that frequency adverbs. Good. You see, adverbs of frequency or frequency adverbs, it's the same thing. We have two people, we have two students, and with different habits. Look, you got an A again? Why do you do it? Well, I always do my homework and I often ask the teacher for help. I often, you know the position of the frequency adverb? After the person. I always, I often, after the person. I always do, I often ask. Yes, this is the position. Well, I am usually late for class. This is a different case with the verb to be. When you have verb to be, then you have person, verb to be, frequency adverb. And with the others is person, frequency adverb, verb. It's different. I am usually, I am usually, I am never, I am sometimes. Maybe I need to try your habits, he says. Look, the different frequency verbs have a different level of frequency. For example, a person who always studies is because he studies the 100% of the time, always. He always studies. Or he usually, like as 80% could be. And often, okay, it's common, I often 80, 70%. But when you say sometimes, it's like 50-50. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. He sometimes studies. And rarely, raramente, he rarely studies. Like 30%, 20%. Never, 0%. So he never studies is the same to say he doesn't study because it's 0%. Look at this example. He, okay, verb to be. This is to show you that the position of the verb to be is, well, the position of the frequency adverb with verb to be is different. Look, he is sometimes late. The students are never bored. Then you say is sometimes, are never bored. She often checks. So it's the other case with the other verbs. He usually pays. He usually pays. The dog eats his homework sometimes. Sometimes and sometimes. So, el adverbio sometimes podemos ubicarlo en diferentes lugares de la oración. Al comienzo, al final y después de la persona. Es una característica del adverbio de frecuencia. Okay, these are other examples, but they are not important for us now. I always come, I never complete. How often? How often is a question in order to ask about frequency. Then how often do you study with a partner? It's like cada cuánto. How often do you study with a partner? And what is the possible answer? Possible answer is with a frequency adverb. Then if it is cada cuánto, then I say I usually, I never, I sometimes, I rarely. And it says, in this case, the girl says, I rarely study with a partner. How often? What do you think is the end of this? How often do you fall asleep studying? How often are you tired? How often do you fall asleep? How often are you tired? And you can try with these other questions. How often do you, what is the end? How often do you study in a group? How often are you in class? How often do you listen to the teacher? How often do you practice speaking English? How often you get an A on a test? And how often are you confused in class? And that's it. Well, I hope you have understood a little more about the topics. I hope I have been clear. And anyway, if you have any question, you can ask me in the platform. Well, remember you have a test to do these days, so we gotta study very much. It's a shame you haven't been here, and I hope the other time you can be here with me sharing. And that's it. You can finish now. Okay, bye bye.